Coming to you from Studio A, this is Brooklyn Baritone Podcasts. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you listen to this. Thank you for tuning in. I want to ask you, what are qualities that you look for in a leader? I know everyone has their own opinions, everyone has their own walks of life, everyone has their own experiences that would make their choice for leaders differ from other people. But at the same time, I think we all pretty much go and look for the kind of same things, basically, at core. And the thing is, though, we're missing so much of the mark because we're so caught up in our own, feelings and opinions. But I'm going to go over a few qualities that I feel should make a proper leader. I don't know how relevant that is nowadays because we have so much different examples of what are, begin quote, leaders, end quote. The first one I'm going to look at is integrity. The second, I believe, is relatability. The third one is reliability. Those, I believe, are the three core qualities that make a leader effective and that make a leader a leader. And you remember, some people are born with it out the gate. Some people take time to develop these things, but everyone, not just a belief, but what I understand from everyone, has the capacity to be a leader, a proper leader in that text. Maybe throughout your whole life, maybe you have held a position for a while, maybe you have held several positions, or people may see you unofficially as a leader because of, your ability to pull things through, make things happen, etc. So what caused me to talk about this is, of course, if you listen to my content all the time, I'm always talking about things to develop yourself for growth. Yes, spiritually, intellectually, morally, professionally, all types of growth I try to incorporate. And part of that is being a leader. And the thing is, most of us are inspired by what leaders are around us. And since we all, as I said before, have the capacity to do it, these are things that we need to understand about ourselves and other people. And I feel that there is a serious lack of proper leadership. Not saying that there aren't leaders where we need them to be. They are. Unfortunately, they're not really promoted or even glamorized as much as other people who are supposed to be, quote unquote, leaders now. Integrity, which should be the most important thing of anyone's core. When we talk about integrity, talking about moral integrity, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. When we say anything was moral, we think of a lot of things of standards. We think of doing the right thing. But we have to understand what makes things right, because so many people have so many different beliefs. So many people have so many different experiences. Yet and still, there are people who just downright feel that certain things should be done and certain things should not be done. While on the other hand, there are many people who feel that they do whatever they want because what they feel is right goes. But what really gives us the standard of what is right? Because it just can't be off of how you feel, because you can't go off of your feelings. Your feelings change all the time. People are like the ocean. They're like the river. It's always moving and going. It's never solid. So you can't base standards on something that's always changing. We change throughout our lives. We change throughout the day. We change, we could change one mood to another within an hour of each other. So we're going to need something to keep us straight and steady. What I'm getting at is that the standards of moral uprightness really goes back to what I always go back to, what we should always go back to, is our Creator, Elohim, and Yeshua. That is where it's ingrained in us. That's why we have an idea of what is right. Even if we never cracked open a Bible, even if we never went to really go to church or anything like that. Majority of the people here, just about everyone, on this earth has an idea of what moral uprightness is, unless you were just totally separate in some way, shape, or form with how you were brought up for pretty much your whole life. But the majority of the world, they know basically what is right, what should be acceptable as moral uprightness. But if you have integrity of saying you're doing the right thing, you're not telling lies, you're not leading people astray, you are helping people. And the thing about integrity is that you're doing it without people knowing you're doing it as well, because you shouldn't be doing it to get kudos. You shouldn't be doing it to get recognition or even awarded for it. I'm not going to lie. It's nice, but that's something that should be ingrained in you all the time. And it should bother you when you're probably not doing it, or even bother you when you see a leader not doing it all the time. Because in a leadership position, you are in a position to influence people more. On to my second one. Relatability. Easy to understand and feel connected to, basically. So people want to feel comfortable knowing that you've gone through similar experiences or even seek to have specific interests at heart. People want to be able to relate to you. People don't want to see you as disconnected or distant or just totally cold or have no sympathy or even no empathy to what people are going through, to what people you're supposed to be leading, or even people that you're around. Which boggles me, because as it stands now in America and many other places, people only choose their leaders based on really how much money they have behind them. Let's be real with it. It's based on marketability. It's based on being able to be a brand. And we already know marketing takes money. It takes money to put a billboard up. It takes money for a commercial to go on air, on prime time, on major channels. It takes money for certain people or organizations to back you. It's all about money. So it should not be a relatable thing for everyday people who are going to work, who are going through the struggle, who are trying to make ends meet, who are still trying to build up their own businesses or their own households, to see someone who is associated with millions of dollars or millionaires or even billionaires. But we look to these people as trying to be relatable. Maybe because, how I always say, this socioeconomic structure has us trained and programmed to hopefully one day have millions ourselves. So we're going to try and attach ourselves to that mindset, to that image that we see. So hopefully when we get that bigger piece of the pie, we could be in there with them. It don't work like that. Relatability should be about people who you know is all about what you're about. I'm going to get into that second part in just a second. That third part. You should be able to know that people came from where you came from. They want the same thing you want. And what I discussed about this when I talked about my podcast and service before self, going through the experience and transition of being in the military, in boot camp and training school, and throughout your military career, wherever you are assigned to, you are going to come across other people from all other walks of life. People that look a bit different from you, that talk a bit different from you, people that just grew up in different households, people that grew up in different neighborhoods, ate different foods. But usually people come and they understand we're different, but we're all the same, basically, when it comes down to it. So when you're kind of isolated, if I'm going to put it out there, like you grew up like a Donald J. Trump. He's not the only one, but of course he's the one that everyone's talking about nowadays. And even people like Barack Obama, people like the Clintons, these people are around money. They're around people who are around organizations and individuals who have heavy influence. These are not people who are walking the streets every day. These are not people who are doing 9-to-5 jobs. These are not people who are probably even doing regular podcasts like I am, or even other people who make a lot more money than me, but they are a lot more relatable. Only time that they are relatable is when it's election time or when they're trying to build themselves up in some way, shape, or form. Now, I understand that they are involved in many different charities or functions or events, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, the relatability isn't there for the common person. So I believe you should look for someone who is strong enough, has enough experiences and knowledge with law and politics, but at the same time, they are not too far removed from what everyone needs. And once you get yourself out of that bubble, you are able to find someone that fits properly, that's relatable, not just to what you want, but also you know what everyone else wants as well. Now, going to the third thing that I noted is reliability. Reliability, the quality of being trustworthy or of performing consistently well. We got to know that you can do the job. Can you get it done? How did you get the job done? What type of job did you get done? Who did you get the job done for? So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about relatability. People relate. So reliability means this guy or this girl can get this job done. What kind of job am I looking to get done? Now, when I look at relatability and reliability as well, you have to look at the people who choose certain people for leaders. Where's their mind at? What is their end game? What is it that they want accomplished? What kind of mindset do they have? Now, there are going to be people who are already in leadership positions that will endorse other people like them, mainly because they're just in good with them and they just know, okay, this is my constituent, this is my buddy, this is my pal, this is my close associate, so I'm going to keep my people with me. I understand common interests, but is it for the greater good? Now, if you look at how many people voted for Barack Obama, many people of my skin color voted because he was black. He was upstanding as far as the image. He portrayed integrity. He portrayed relatability and reliability. It seemed like he had it as well, and he carried himself. That's part of the image of what you need as a leader. Okay. Do I agree with everything that he's done? No, not at all. Not at all. It felt great to see a man of color in office. Yes, granted, of the history of the treatment and targeting of people of color in this country and globally. I speak about this many times. If anyone has any questions directly for me, you want to, have a rebuttal, feel free to hit me up on my YouTube comment section or even email me at my website, which I'll give you. I'll give you Corey@brooklynbaritone.com, but I'll also say it at the end of this podcast as well. So being the fact that people of color have basically been labeled wrongfully, terribly, it did feel good to see someone that looks like me in office, even though I definitely do not agree with everything that he's done or even, lacked thereof of doing something. Okay. Now here we go fast forward to Donald Trump. So many people feel relatable to him because they feel he shares the same interest. And you could see the type of people, I'm going to call it out, that a lot of people are very definitely ignorantly racist. And they will say they're not. But if you ignore the history of this country, of why people are racist, people don't even know why they are racist, but it's because it's based, again, off of a lot of false education, a lot of false sciences, a lot of biased attacks against people of color globally. This was a global indoctrination, okay? Goes all the way up to universities, and even laws were passed all the way down to textbooks that little kindergarten kids learn about, okay? We know many of these things are false, but we still, because we've been so successfully programmed, we can't shake it. It's hard for a lot of people to shake it. So a lot of people who feel that, he's for them, and there's people who are coming forward, you can see blatantly that they just don't like people of color. Mind you, they totally disregard the history of the ill treatment of people of color in this country. These are the people that he's enabling. So he's reliable to a certain set of people. So yes, you can be a leader, but that doesn't mean you have integrity. You can have relatability and reliability, but you need that integrity, that moral uprightness, because that right there is what links us back to the Father. Whenever we step away from our Creator, I'm not saying follow religion. I'm not saying go to church to jump up and down. If you have an understanding of who the Father is, you'll have an understanding of who we all are. Then you have a proper understanding of how to move forward. It begins with that. People say it's actually scripture. Wisdom, fear of our Creator is the beginning of wisdom. And not fear to be trembling in your bedroom underneath your bed hiding, but fear of having a proper level of respect. Again, remember when I talked about before, certain words have shifted their meaning based on how we shift. Like I said before, people change like the tides of the ocean. Because we change, we try to redefine other things around us. When certain things meant one thing one time, it's going to mean something else again another time. So when you understand where we come from, you will have the understanding of moral uprightness. So these are the three main things that I say people need to be a leader. Okay. And people see Donald Trump as being reliable because he's getting certain things done the way people want them done. Is this mic on? Yes, it's on, making sure the light is still on it. And one of the last things I didn't add here, but I believe I said it's integrity, it's relatability, it's reliability. Those are the three core things that people need from a leader to be a leader, that they should expect from a leader that is genuine. The very last thing is to inspire. All those three things together will inspire people. You are able to inspire other people to be a better version of themselves. This is one thing that people loved about Barack Obama. He knew how to talk. If you know how to talk properly, eloquently, with passion, with pride, but you're serious, but at the same time, you are compassionate. You're about handling things properly. You are about confidence. This is what people do look for. You see it everywhere. I'm always saying people pay all types of money for speakers to come out to speak at their jobs, to speak to schools, to speak at conventions. Because there's something about the word. Everything was spoken into existence. Elohim is our creator. We are in his image. Part of that power we got is to speak things into existence. Back in the 80s, if you were around, a lot of people used to say, word is bond, because word is bond. If your word is not your bond, you have nothing of value to add to anyone. You can inspire people to do things, or you inspire people for a better place, to be a better version of themselves. You have to look at these things as being a leader. If you're living in a bubble, that's your choice to be in a bubble. If people resist you because you're in a bubble, you have to look at yourself. There are many things that I've done that I know that I did not do in a leadership position because I had to have the proper know-how, which I admittedly didn't have it at times. There's times where I just didn't have the energy to want to do certain things. At the same time, there are many things that I know that I have accomplished and have done. There's times you can't do it all yourself. You're going to need the right people around you to point things out. Everyone's going to have their weaknesses. How well you know yourself to either manage your weaknesses so they don't come out and bubble up to the top, or you have people around you to keep you in check, to either pick up on the slack that you may have. Because there's things that I know that I can't do properly, or it's just like, it's just not in me to do. That someone else, they got it in them, no problem, to do it. You need to surround yourself with people that's going to help you out, and you help them out the same thing. That's where the relatability comes from. The integrity, that comes out over time. Time will tell, especially integrity is tied to truth with proper standards. You will know people by the fruits of their labors. That comes with time. People know you are someone who's upstanding. They'll be drawn to you and know, okay, you're solid. Just like integrity is a term that we use in IT as far as having a message to make sure I send an email, it goes to the server and services and the protocol to make sure that message has integrity. It is solid by the time it gets to you when I send it to you. And reliability, you got to make sure that you get the job done, but how you get it done. Because people can get the job done, but the way they did it, they got it done It is questionable. We don't know if we like that, so you have to make sure integrity is tied in with reliability as well. A lot of people get a lot of jobs done, but what kind of job? Who are they doing it for? Why are they doing it? And you have to be able to inspire people as well. Now, it's not a requisite, no, but these are things that'll come and it'll form into its own thing. And you would recognize it in certain people, certain times. A lot of people have that. They have it all the time, or they have the sparks of it. But these are the things that I know every leader should have qualities of. It'll be in different flavors, it'll come in different forms, but these are the things that people have as a leader. That's all I got for today. Thank you for listening. And as I said before, if you have any comments or any kind of rebuttal, whatever it is, or any kind of suggestions, you could reach me at Corey@brooklynbaritone.com. You feel free to go to the rest of my website at brooklynbaritone.com. Please subscribe on my YouTube channel, Brooklyn Baritone. It's Corey Ashley. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I'm also on the Google Play Store and the iTunes Play Store. Thank you for listening. You will hear from me next week. Walk good, be blessed. I love you all.